Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is our Rise News analyst, Emmanuel Efene, the great Malabite.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning. Good morning, Rufai.
Morning, Olorogun.
Well,
Chief.
I'm not a titled man.
Chief is Olorogun.
No, he's Chief.
Chief. Olorogun.
I'm not a titled man, please.
They will title you.
Now, let's start the review with this day. Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Buhari meets 23 freed Kaduna train victims, charges service chiefs to replicate success, appreciates military for bravery, lists unprecedented acquisition of military platforms, hardware in 7 years, says inherited nation at crossroads with bombs going off at frightening frequency, even in cities. Bajabiamila commends federal government armed forces. Khan hails president security agencies over release. Military vows to track down train bombers. Yes, President Muhammadu Buhari still basking in the euphoria of the last 23 victims of that Kaduna train attack who were released a couple of days ago. Yes. While the family will rejoice with the family and the victims, but I don't think there should be over-celebration by the administration because there are still many more people in kidnappers then. So good thing the spokesman for the defense headquarters yesterday addressed this issue when he briefed the press, that yes, they are going to ensure that all others who are still in kidnappers then are freed. And I think until that is done, it is not celebration time yet. Yes, but I expect that the president, in the twilight of his administration, will use every opportunity to try to highlight the things he has done over time. But, of course, it's very easy to refer to when bombs, according to the administration, were going off at frightening frequency. But what we have seen recently, where bandits came to town in the Federal Capital Territory, took on the Brigade of Guards, never seen before, that some officers were killed. And of course, bandits, terrorists coming to the Federal Capital to attack Kuje prisons where they freed terrorists who were in government custody. If you juxtapose that with hit and run bombs by terrorists, I wouldn't see the difference really, because the Federal Capital Territory should be sacrosanct when it comes to security issues. But the government will continue to look for, of course, where it thinks it has done very well. Now, the Guardian newspaper, Tinubu returns, will be in Harvard. PDP seeks urgent solutions to crisis. Tinubu to address APC campaign crisis. Rivers Assembly recognizes Atiku's ally, Omehia, as former governor. Atiku will win by 7 million votes, IU boost. I think the main story here, the return of the Jagaban. Yes, some were already saying the Jagaban was missing in action because some of the spokespersons who appeared on television could not give account of the whereabouts of their principal. In fact, one spokesperson, I think the director of publicity on this program, said when he was asked, where is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu? He said he's somewhere on the earth and he's alive. But good to see the Jagaban himself, looking sprightly in that jacket yesterday, is back. But perhaps the roar we wrote about in this some time ago was seen in the excitement of his supporters, who were very happy that at least they can account, they can speak to the whereabouts of their principal. But I would say, welcome the Jagaban, the lion of Bodilon, who is back on his campaign trip. But the Guardian highlighting that, of course, there's crisis in his campaign And he has to deal with that. The APC campaign council and the grumblings within the party secretariat. I don't want to call it a crisis here in the magnitude of that of PDP. But, of course, he has to deal with that right away and kickstart the campaign of the APC. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper, Defense Headquarters reveals how train attack victims regain freedom. Buhari charges service chief to do more. Meet freed Abuja train attack passengers. Yes, below that photograph there, President Buhari, yes, looking at one of the kids who also came out of the kidnappers' den. The story below that, Nigerians going through hell over economic hardship. CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria. Of course, they should know, because the people who go to church, they go to complain to their pastors. They ask for prayers for improvement on their situation. But the economic situation in the country, yes, the government has to do what it has to do to relieve the people of the hardship while they go to their clergymen for prayers to improve their situation. Now, the Punch newspaper, PDP crisis, aggrieved governors report Atiku to BOT, list peace condition, ex-VP renege on post-primary promise to Wike, London jail. Source, Wike moves against Atiku's ally, delist to Mehia as ex-governor. Atiku will shock Nigerians, win with 7 million votes margin. Are you both? Why will he shock Nigerians? It's Nigerians who are going to cast the vote. So, so if he's shocked 7 million votes, Nigerians will give him that vote. So there won't be any shock there. But again, political talk, campaigning. Now it's time to campaign. You can assume what you think, but at the end of the day, the people will decide. Vanguard newspaper, insecurity evolve, assumed other dimensions. Buhari directs service chiefs to take fight against terrorism to other parts of Nigeria. Says no terrorist can threaten Nigeria's sovereignty. Restates commitment to free, fair, peaceful election. Now the Nation newspaper, Buhari to military, replicate Northeast feat nationwide. Of course, the Nation also reporting the Tinubu return. I am happy to be back, says Tinubu. Yes, the Jagaban. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, reps disagree with Senate, cuts 2023 budget deficit by 800 billion naira, raise oil revenue to 9.3 trillion, retain exchange rate of 434.57 to the dollar. Now, the Business Day newspaper, hunger crisis to worsens as floods drown farmland. Yes, it's a very sad situation. Big farms overtaken by the flood, rice plantation overtaken. We hope there's some rice in the reserve, in the silos, so that they can be pushed out in times like this, so that there can be shocks in the price of foodstuff. But I don't know the state of the silos where we used to have a strategic reserve, Ruben, when your principal was there, where we have grains reserve. You bring them out in times like this. Now, lastly, the New Telegraph newspaper, intrigue, Rivers Assembly strips Omeya of ex-governor's status. All I can say to this, for 7 years, Wike was paying the salary of Omeya in the twilight of his administration, because they don't see, they are not on the same political page. He has decided to strip him off.
Okay, quickly. I wanted to comment on that. That was why I brought it up with Daniel Buhari. But we have to be very brief, because we're told we still have an interview session. We still have to cross live to Abuja. But very quickly. I quoted Lee Kuan Yew, who in his book, From Third World to the First, said that what they do in West Africa is that people make laws to serve their own purpose.
Simple.
In Section 4 of the Constitution that Daniel Buhari referred to, the Legislative Assembly, the job is to make laws for the good order, peace, and security of the state. This same assembly in Rivers State in 2015 decided that Celestine Omeya was entitled as a former governor to privileges, to pension, and to the use of the Grand Star of River State, insignia as a former governor. At that time, he was in the good books of the governor. He was in the good books of the House of Assembly. Now in 2022, because Omeya is supporting Atiku Abubakar,
and he has a right to support whoever he wants to support.
Omeya is saying that Yochi Ayu must not go. The same State of Assembly, 21 members of them, voted unanimously yesterday to say that, his privileges have been removed, he must no longer portray himself, and that in fact within 7 days, he must pay back all the monies that he had collected. So if in 7 days he fails to pay back, what will happen? Second, they said the governor today will give assent to the order given by the House of Assembly. Okay, if the governor does it, what will be the effect? Can Omeya go to court? Okay, but the basic principle is that you cannot use the House of Assembly to promote any form of illegality. If the Supreme Court, if the position of the law in 2008 was that, Omeya should leave, Rotimi Amechi should come back, then of course that was the position of the law. Then you go to the House of Assembly, you use your House of Assembly to change the position of the law, and then you turn around. I mean, the Legislative Assembly cannot be turned into some kind of gaming system, to beat the system, to play games against the system. As you have seen in River State, we have also seen a similar development in Kogi State, in the Aliko Dangote case that I commented on at length earlier on. But we don't have time, so thank you, Emmanuel Efene. So many issues you raised.
Yes, so many issues,
but no time.
There's
okay,
always more time. Some other day.